Be ready for dictation. 5 seconds to go. Start. The Constitution of India was framed by the Constituent Assembly after long drawn debates. Many of the members of the Constituent Assembly themselves were actively and directly involved in the struggle for freedom. They therefore brought in framing the Constitution their experience of movement for liberation from the colonial rule. The Constitution was framed at a time when the memories of violation of human and fundamental rights at the hands of colonial rulers were fresh. So was fresh in the mind of the people the Nazi excesses during the time of Second World War, declaration of separate chapter of fundamental rights with special focus on equality and personal liberties was thus inevitable. The framers of the Constitution thus dedicated a whole chapter for fundamental rights. While doing so, important provisions were made in Part 4 pertaining to the directive principles of state policy, making detailed provisions laying down a roadmap for bringing about a peaceful social revolution through constitutional means and for the governments to bear in mind those principles while framing future governmental policies. Article 37 contained in Part 4 provides that the provisions contained in that part shall not be enforceable by any court, but it makes it clear that the principles laid down therein are nevertheless fundamental in the governance of the country, and it shall be the duty of the state to apply those principles in making laws. The situation of transgender persons in India is complex and challenging. Transgender individuals face a great deal of discrimination, violence, and economic exclusion from mainstream society. Due to this, transgender individuals often struggled to access basic human rights such as healthcare, education, employment, and housing. However, in recent years, government has taken several steps such as the inclusion of transgender individuals in government schemes in order to provide protection of rights of transgender persons and their welfare. Ministry enacted the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019, which came into effect on 10/1/2020. The Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019 is a significant step forward in protecting the rights of transgender individuals in the country. The Act provides legal recognition of transgender individuals as a third gender and recognizes their right to self identification based on their gender identity. One of the major benefits of the Act is that it prohibits discrimination against transgender persons in education, employment, healthcare, and access to public spaces. The Act also mandates the creation of welfare boards at the state levels, which will be responsible for facilitating access to social welfare schemes for transgender persons. The Act also makes provisions for transgender persons to obtain a certificate of identity which will enable them to access various services and entitlements as per their self identified gender. Additionally, the Act provides for the establishment of separate hospitals and clinics to provide healthcare services to transgender individuals. Moreover, the Act criminalizes offenses against transgender persons, including physical, emotional, and economic abuse. It also provides for the punishment of those who force transgender individuals into begging or for those who deny them access to public places such as parks, hospitals, or restaurants. Overall, the government, through Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019, has provided major benefit to the transgender community in India. By providing legal recognition, protection, and welfare, the Act aims to create a more inclusive and equitable society for all. After getting the admission in Garima Grah, Raipur, supported by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, seven transgender individuals worked hard to get employment as their family didn't accept them. After declaring their identity as transgender, they knew they didn't have a family where they can go back, which also become a spark to get employment for their better future. These TG students studied hard and attended regular classes which were being conducted by the Garima Grah. These TG persons are now placed in G4S Security Vedanta Group and working as security guards and inspiring other community members to come out and achieve success in life. With the support from Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, 13 transgender individuals got admission in Garima Grah, Raipur. They all were not confident as they were constantly faced verbal abuse from their relatives and classmates. Coming out as transgender person was a major challenge for them during their studies. These TG started preparation for the state police examination. A short duration of time, they were able to get selected in the state police department of Chhattisgarh. These 13 transgenders are now become an inspiration for others to come out and achieve their rightful place in the society. Similarly, seven more inmates have been selected as Bastar fighters.